Like she said, your abs will both hate you and love you. So her abs are incredible. They're alive. Mine don't say anything to me, although I don't really train my abs because it's boring. Simon Miller, the most useless human being on the planet here. I just thought it'd be really funny because you always watch YouTube videos like, hey guys, it's really upbeat. And I was like, imagine someone introduced themselves and just said they were a waste of space. This is the kind of avenue that I want to start introducing to the channel. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about something that people have asked me to talk about for a long ass time. I kind of both did and didn't want to do it because these videos always do kind of well, but also I don't want to be this dude that just walks around and, you know, figuratively craps on other YouTubers. I mean, they're doing their thing. You absolutely do need to call out the BS in the fitness industry. That's the number one thing to do, but there are shades of grey and people trying to do good, and they're not necessarily awful, terrible people. I am, of course, referring to V-Shred. But Chloe Ting. Chloe Ting is a person that comes up all the time, and I've seen that Greg Doucette's done videos. There's a bunch of people. If you type in Chloe Ting, there is so many videos saying Chloe Ting said this and Chloe Ting said that, and should you listen to Chloe Ting? And I think it's essentially because, one, she's absolutely smashing it. I think she's got like 9 million subscribers or something crazy like that. And one of her videos about getting abs in 2 weeks that we're going to talk about today did something like 300 million views. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if you were running a YouTube channel? Hi, my name is Simon Miller. And you woke up one day and you kind of started to notice this thing is the trajectory is going to 300 million views. Now, I've had some awesome success stories on my little channel here, but that's otherworldly. If that happens, I promise, if I ever do a video that is 300 million views, I'll do whatever the hell you want. I'll do whatever the hell they want. Simon, bring a goat into the room and just try and ride the goat. There'll be a video goes, Simon Miller tries to ride a goat, and then I'll wreck my entire channel, but we tried anyway. So here's the thing when it comes to Chloe Ting. Let's play a little bit of a video and then we can go from there.
Hey everyone, today's ab workout is just 10 minutes, but it's gonna be intense. Your abs will love you and hate you at the same time, but it's gonna be worth it. So this workout is part of my 2-week shredding program to help you get closer to that defined abs.
So instantly, she goes from her title, which is get abs in 2 weeks, with the big, you know, weeks is in capital letters and the big exclam and all stuff like that, to saying this is going to help you get abs. Now here is the thing, right? Can you get abdominal muscles in 2 weeks? No, you absolutely cannot. Asterisks, depending on where you already are in your fitness program, right? And this is the key that I think we need to talk about today. If you are just starting on your fitness journey and you haven't done anything and you've been sat around eating Cheetos and drinking Coke and essentially living the dream, because that's what we all want to do deep down, but we realize we can't get away with it because we're human beings. You are not going to be able to do any kind of a program and get abs in 2 weeks. Like, even if you just did a bunch of sit-ups for 14 days and you didn't eat any food, unless you're some kind of genetic freak, which I'm going to guess you're not, because, you know, eating at a surplus has turned you into an overweight person, it's just not going to happen. And that's where these videos, will use the word, the 2021 word, trigger people, because they watch them and either A, they know instantly, well, that's just, you know, for likes and clicks and everything like that, but also B, it's going to play on people's insecurity. I would say the number one question I used to get asked, or did get asked sort of when I was lifting weights, etc., was, oh, Simon, I'm going on holiday, or I've got a wedding, or I've got some kind of bar mitzvah or a birthday. How do I get in shape in the 10 days, 2 weeks that I've got beforehand? I'm like, well, there's certain things you can do, but you're not going to be able to make any super duper transformations. Like if you're going to the beach or something and you are out of shape, within 2 weeks, are you going to be able to get in better shape? Absolutely. But are you going to be able to get in shape that you want to in your mind's eye? No. And this ties into a bigger issue once again, which is that, you know, health and fitness has to be a lifestyle. It has to be sustainable. It has to be something that you do from point one to point, well, dead, I'm going to go with. Because if you can't just sort of come and go, unless you're happy to do that, right? It depends on what your goals are. So that's where the issue is that it's going to lure people in, and some people may just take this at face value and say, well, I'm going to do this ab workout for 2 weeks. And it's a fine ab workout. It will absolutely work your abs. Like she said, your abs will both hate you and love you. So her abs are incredible. They're alive. Mine don't say anything to me, although I don't really train my abs because it's boring. But that's the kind of gray area that we fall into. Do it. It will help. Are you going to have abs in 2 weeks? Yes, but only if you are 2 weeks away from having abs, right? There's no secret magic potion in here that will all of a sudden make your abdominals appear, other than the always ridiculous reasoning, which there have been on some videos, and I've parodied many a time, when people say, you've already got abs. You've already got abs because we've all got abs. It's like saying, I've got hair. I mean, I fundamentally don't.
No rest time here, guys. We are going straight into reverse crunch. Lift your hips off the ground using your core muscles and make sure you're engaging your core here.
So again, look, all fundamentally good ab core exercise, right? I mean, nobody would watch them and go, well, some people are going to have their own preferences. But it's not like sometimes you can watch people doing crazy exercise and you're like, what the hell is that guy doing? Like they're getting, I don't know, a fish and just slapping it into their face and telling you that's going to build their forearms. It's like, well, maybe, but why don't you just do a hammer curl, brah? You're going a long way round about this. So essentially what this kind of comes into is the whole clickbait business, blah, blah. And she does talk about other videos. I haven't just watched this one. I've watched a lot. And she has mentioned, I guess in the face of some criticism, that she labels her videos so that YouTube puts it in the algorithm, and you can't argue with her. I always want to make it very clear when I talk about these videos, not crapping on her success at all. 331 million views on one video. 331 million views. On that note, if you could subscribe to my channel and like the video and leave a comment and just get the algorithm working for me, that would be absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much. Anyway, going back to my original point, she admits she does that, but then says the core of her videos will try and give people more sustainable advice. Now, I've been through a lot, like I say. Sometimes she does talk about good stuff. It's about consistency, marathon, not a sprint. You want to be calorific deficit, or you want to do this and do that. And she did one video where she compared burning calories while weight training to burning calories while doing cardio. That's kind of a grey area too, but we don't need to talk about that here. However, there are other videos where she talks about going for a walk in the morning and then making sure you eat this certain thing and get your heart rate here, and that's going to get you into optimum fat loss territory, which is all very vague science, we'll go with. It's all very, very vague stuff. And if you actually start buying into that and taking your life to these kind of stresses where you're ultimately potentially not going to be able to see huge differences, even though you're doing all of this stuff, that's why I kind of understand it. But you just need to be realistic with this stuff. That's the key. You need to be realistic, which is odd because Chloe Ting talks about that in some of her other videos as well, especially when she does, 7 tips for a better lifestyle or whatever. If you read or see anything that all of a sudden sounds like you're going to be able to cut a lot of corners, it means it's just not going to work, right? It is just not going to work. So let's say that you are right at the start of your fitness journey. Are you going to be big and ripped like insert whatever Hollywood actor you want here? No, you're probably not. Well, in fact, you're definitely not. Are you going to get down to ideal body fat percentage? No. Are you going to have abs? No. Are you going to be able to eat whatever you want and go to the gym and look? No. The answer is no to all of these things, because health and fitness and going to the gym and whatever you want to call it takes time and it takes effort and it takes dedication. Doesn't mean it needs to ruin your life, but you need to find a way to put it in perspective where it feels like it's enjoyable and it feels like it's fun. And this is why you can't make too many sort of tip videos, because that's the big tip video. Find the exercise that you want to do and do that. It doesn't matter what it is. It really doesn't. You're going to get to a point where you're going to have to experiment with it and evolve it to a certain extent because your brain and your body gets used to these things. But even if what you love doing more than anything is bicep curls, and again, you have to expand on this. That's all you love doing in the gym. Then you should really sit down and think to yourself, okay, what can I do? How can I research this? What can I pull in and extrapolate in the sense that I can just figure out a bicep curl or a bicep curl movement so I can apply this to the entire gym? That's what you've got to do. And then only then, when you are eating right and you're smashing the gym and you're being consistent, all these things we've talked about 1,000 times, do you start to see results. And even then you don't get the results that you want because you don't know which direction your body's going to go in. Like, all the honest fitness guys, not just on YouTube or Instagram or anywhere, will always look deep into a camera, as I'm saying now, and they will tell you you're probably not going to look like how you want to look like. Doesn't mean you can't get into great shape, doesn't mean that you can't appreciate where you were and where you've come, but the template that we kind of make up in our heads, or that we get massively confused by when we see people on social media, especially Instagram, that's not a realistic setting. Like, even here right now, I know people freak out when they realize it's a green screen, but it's a green screen. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights, and there's a camera, and it's all done in order to light that and to light me. But if all of a sudden I turned it off, even I'm going to look completely different. And you may go, oh my gosh, that's not how I've ever seen him before. That's a completely different perspective. And it's the same with the people on Instagram or whatever. Pick whatever you want, YouTube. They are not walking around looking like that. And if they are, they're probably completely malnourished and on a bunch of drugs most of the time. If you like Chloe Ting's videos, absolutely, man. It's just entertainment at the end of the day. That's what YouTube is. It's free entertainment. Same with me, same with everybody. And you should do this with my videos too. You should take as much out of them as you can, and you should learn and you should educate yourself. But you should also need that little thing in the back of your head that goes, but. And it just stops you and holds you back. Because sometimes, and again, I want to make sure I put myself in this category too, I'll talk in absolutes and I'll talk in general terms, and I shouldn't do that. But I'm doing it because that's just how we have conversations. In reality, we just do. So you can watch anybody that want. You can even watch V-Shred, right? Now, V-Shred talks a lot of crap. V-Shred, 99% of the things that come out of his mouth just aren't true. But sometimes he will say stuff like, hey, you need to eat in a calorie deficit. And that's what you can take on. because that makes sense and you've seen it in other videos. But do not listen or do or give any money to V-Shred. It's a waste of your time and it's not going to work. You're going to be massively upset. So, Chloe Ting isn't someone that I'm going to sit here and absolutely rag on. She is using technology to her advantage, and she's doing an incredible job of it. And again, you can go through these workouts. I've been through a few, and I think if you did join in with her, especially given that not gyms, my gym is opening again for the first time on Monday, and that's the first time in like 3-4 months. So a quarter of a year almost. So, if you found her and you thought, oh, wow, I can train with this woman, that is awesome. But if she tells you you're going to get abs in 2 weeks, you're not. If she tells you you're going to lose a certain amount of weight in 2 weeks, how does she know? She doesn't know what you're eating, and she doesn't know what your genetic makeup is. Because you can put two people on exactly the same diets, and one drops down, 3-4%, the other doesn't drop down any percent at all. Because the body can be an asshole. It really, really can. In a way, it would be great if we were all exactly the same. Because there could be one program for everything. So there could be one program for losing fat, one program for getting abs, one program for putting on muscle. I would much rather that, as opposed to the guessing game that it is. And that's why, when it comes down to, I guess we call this series the Should You Listen to Them series. Sometimes it's not as black and white and yes and no. And that's kind of what I found with Chloe Ting. Even though, there is some information that I just kind of laughed at, like, there's just no way that's true. I don't know where you've come up with that. It kind of does sound like you just Googled it. But that's not the case on 100% of her videos. And if you're well into doing abs, like I say, sit down, do her ab workout along with her 331 million viewed ab workout, and your abs are probably going to hurt. But don't let the pain or the delayed onset muscle soreness make you think, oh, my abs are growing or my abs are getting more visible. Because to be as transparent as possible, it not. So there you go. That was a long-winded way to say that we need to ensure that we, kind of temper our expectations a little bit and also put ourselves in the driving seat. Well, you're in competition with yourself. That's it. You just need to do better than you did yesterday. And sometimes you're going to succeed and sometimes you're going to fail. And then you just move on and you chalk it up to experience. Now, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Come on, give me a subscribe. Hit the bell notification. That way you know when other videos are going live. Click the other video on the channel right now. You should be able to see it just over there. Instagram and Twitter at SimonMiller316. I do post a lot of these kind of pictures, but it will always in the body of the post tell you that it's a bunch of nonsense and lighting, because I like to be as honest as I perfectly can be. Patreon.com/Simon316 if you want to support me financially. There's a bunch of rewards on there too. You can join in with our weekly Q&As. What else have I got? Patreon.com, no, done that one. Simon.bigcartel.com for merch. Otherwise, you take care of yourself, and I'll see you throughout the week.